Good evening and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. We begin, as always, with a prayer and a pledge. If you'd like to join me in prayer. Gracious Father, we thank you for this opportunity that we have to serve the citizens of Saginaw. Be with us as we deliberate and go about doing the city's business. Be with all our city employees, especially our public safety. Keep them safe and in your will. And all our citizens. We ask this in your name. Amen. Now I'd like to introduce from Troop 304, Ames United Methodist, Andrew Twaddle and Tyler Maturin, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Gentlemen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Milne. Here. Councilmember Tibbs. Councilmember Bench. Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Bryant. Councilmember Balls. Councilmember Humphreys is excused. Mayor Browning. Here. We have 8 members present and 1 excused.
And I'd like to remind the audience here that during the council meeting to please remain quiet and refrain from speaking or other behavior that would be upsetting to the meeting. Also, this is the time to check your phones. Please make sure that they are turned down so they do not interfere with our council meeting. Madam Clerk, any announcements?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I do have a few. I'd like everyone to know that City Hall will be closed this Thursday and Friday, November 23rd and 24th, for the Thanksgiving holiday. And with the Thanksgiving holiday, it will cause a 1-day delay in the residential collection of your trash services for those with Thursday and Friday service. So if you have a Thursday or Friday trash service, please place your trash out 1 day later for a normal pickup. Also, the city's annual yard waste collection normally ends on November 30th. However, due to the weather conditions being mild, it will be extended through the week of December 8th. Mayor, that takes us to personal appearances.
Okay, and our first appearance?
Is Debbie Melkonian.
All right. Go ahead.
One second. Good evening. My name is Debbie Melkonian. I'm the president of the Adams Boulevard Neighborhood Association, and this is Rick Russell, who is the president of the Southwest Neighborhood Association. Tonight, let me just start. As we wrapped up Arson Watch at our final meeting, which was on November 8th, Chief Van Loo, presented the committee, the Arson Watch Committee, with this. Well, actually, it was in poster form, okay? Thanking Arson Watch for the tremendous help and celebrating 3 years of no fires. I took it upon myself to take it to Cooper's, which is a local framing business in Saginaw, and showed it to them and explained to them what exactly, this was and what we did with Arson Watch. Once I told the story, he said, it'll be my donation to Arson Watch to frame this at my cost. And they did a beautiful job. This is also signed by all the firefighters, and I asked that it could be hung in the lobby next to the plaque that we have that the NAACP recognized Arson Watch. I hope it doesn't take 8 months because there is a location, and hopefully there's room by it to place this in the lobby. I hope you get a chance to see it. I will leave it with, I'm not sure, but we'll figure that out. And if you recall, I was present at the last council meeting and spoke about the tax cap. Since then, I have met with the board members of the Ezekiel Project, and together we will work together to help get this on the ballot in the near future. So I just wanted to keep you updated on that, and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Mayor, that takes us to remarks of council.
And remind council members, you have 5 minutes during your time for remarks. Normally, we would start with Councilman Humphreys, but being he's absent tonight, Councilman Michael Valls.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to welcome the Boy Scout troop here. Hope you guys learned something about how city government is run. I happen to work with the one of the gentlemen here that's leading the troop, and it's good to see him leading the troop. He would be the one with no hair, but but it's good to see you, man. Seeing that you serve in our community, I really appreciate that. I really don't have too much to share today. It was pretty cold out for the lighting of the tree. Me and the wife went out there and stood next to Councilman Bench and her children, and it was really a nice occasion to see all the people that came out to celebrate the holidays. I really don't have anything to share. Thanks a lot.
I really don't either, Mr. Mayor. It's been a busy couple weeks, but a good couple weeks. I want to extend my greetings as well to our Boy Scouts who are here in the audience, as well as thanks to Ms. Melconian and everything that she does for our city, whether it's in the neighborhood association or with Arson Watch or everything. And now your newest endeavor. Just want to say thank you for everything you do in our community. But that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. We had a great time at Holidays in the Heart of the City on Friday, and then Saturday in the parade. It was a really great time. That's it.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Ms. McConey and her visitor, the Arson Watch crew. Welcome, Boy Scouts. Am I saying it right, Cub Scouts? You know, you can tell my son is grown. So, welcome. I hope that you have fun tonight, because this should be a short meeting, but I hope that you have fun. The last 2 weeks have been pretty slow, thank God. The only thing I did was Friday night we handed out candy canes. We did something different this year. The city council, we wore hats, and we handed out candy canes and light up the city. We handed out over 800 candy canes to our visitors to the city. So we left an impact, trust me. On Saturday, we rode the float and we played Miss America, shaking, and we also threw out candy and stuff to the kids then. So we didn't see the mayor, but we heard he was there, but we were tailgating. We were right in front of Out the Hill Band. And also Santa Claus, so you know everybody wanted to see us then. So next year we plan to do our float up and let people know city council is in the house. We even might get in the competition next year. That's what we're going to work on. So thank you, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving and be safe.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Floyd Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My comments will be short as well. I've been out of town, so I don't have a lot, but I do want to say welcome to everybody, and mostly just repeat some of what's been heard. To the Scouts, welcome, glad to have you here. If you have any questions, I'll be available afterwards, be happy to try and answer some questions. Probably other council members would be as well. Might be a great opportunity to bring up some things that you have, where your curiosity is piqued. If it is, don't be afraid to ask. We'd be happy to try and give you some answers the best we can. Ms. Melconian, thank you very much, and Richard, likewise. Thanks for coming, both of you. I've talked about the tax cap. Please, I'm familiar with what the Ezekiel project is working on, and I'm familiar with what you are, but keep me in the loop, and I like to try and work with you as well. And I do want to say to the chief and all the firefighters, that was really a great gesture. I think it was something that highlights how good of a crew you have. So thank you to you as well for recognizing Arson Watch and all that the Arson Watch crew does. So with that, I'm done.
Thank you. Good evening, and I too will be brief, but I would like to welcome our guests. It's nice to see you all here. Mrs. Melkonian, thank you also for being here and all that you do. It's very good to hear that you're going to help spearhead an effort on the tax cap, especially with Ezekiel, because they are a very good, effective group. So that's very good, and I too would like to offer, my assistance. It's something I'd like to help with as well. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to also thank you, Boy Scouts, for being here this evening, and I'd like to thank your troop leaders for their dedication and commitment. It takes some very active adults who to keep those organizations going, and I want to thank you for your commitment and your service. Same with you, Ms. Malconian, and Arson Watch and the neighborhood associations. Thank you for all you do. I'm hoping the city doesn't take you for granted, but I'm sure they don't. Hence the frame poster there. Despite losing a few key members or very active members in your organizations last year or two, you're still very successful, and you're sticking with it despite some sad losses there. So thank you for your service. I also want to thank the city. I have a big weeping maple. I didn't even know there was such thing as a weeping maple tree, but I have one in my backyard, and it still has half the leaves on its branches. So that gives me a few more weeks, I guess, to have those leaves fall and break them and bag them. So I'd like to thank the city for being aware of that situation and making adjustments. That's all I have, man.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll try to keep my comments short in keeping with everyone's desires here. I also attended the light up the holidays in the heart of the city, the lighting ceremony and the parade. I wanted to specifically thank Jeannie Conger from Positive Results Downtown. We all kind of take for granted these things happen, but somebody's behind it and pushes the work forward. And she's one person that I know has put a lot of time into this. I believe I watched her personally be helping arrange setting up the reviewing stand down at Morley Park. So thank you to the Arson Watch speakers, and appreciate Chief Van Loo reaching out with his firefighters. It's always nice to be recognized for your efforts, and that's a very nice tribute there. And just kind of general information, the Human Planning Commission has begun the interviews with the Community Development Block grantees, and that will continue through December. Their schedule is available in the city clerk's office, I believe, and it's an interesting process to watch. It's the beginning. It's one of the very first steps in our budget process for next year, is tacking down the block grant funds. So we'll see their results here in about February. So there's a group of people working very hard on that. And the presentations, one thing I can say is don't miss your appointment. If you are making an interview with that, they keep to a timetable. So, and to echo others, happy Thanksgiving to everyone here and the citizens at home. Thank you. Just a couple comments here to finish up. I want to thank Brenda Moore for organizing the City Council float. Thank you very much for taking that on and getting all those there. I understand that you were close to the end of the parade. I wasn't there because I was very honored to be the Grand Marshal of the parade, so therefore I was able to lead the parade. So I think we had it covered. I think we had both ends, right? We had both ends. And I was, as you were right in front of Arthur Hill, band, I was right behind Saginaw High.
I knew you would.
Oh yeah, I know. It's, you know, I nothing but the best. So, and I want to thank Jeannie Conyers for that wonderful, and their board for selecting me to that. But also thank you to all their volunteers. They have a tremendous amount of volunteers. Friday night, an excellent night out there, and the rain held off as long as it could for all the activities going on Friday night. And there's almost too much going on, and it's hard to stop at every place that's open for that. Whether it's the Children's Zoo, the Japanese Garden, over in Old Town, and the carolers, and then the live nativity scene that was out here on Washington, and the concerts that went on. Just an amazing time, and so thank you to Positive Results downtown for all the work that they have done. Council members, in January, we do have our strategic planning coming up in January, and if you have anything that you feel appropriate that we need to touch base on, please get with our manager so that we can make arrangements maybe to have something, or if you haven't already, we have some things already planned, but so if there's something in particular, we can touch base on that. We have time to get some information for that. And then the last thing, council members, and well, I'll bring that up during boards and commissions. I'll bring that up during that. So with that, Madam Clerk, I think we are
now at reports from manager.
Thank you, and we have one presentation this evening, and I have just a few items prior to that. First, I'm sure you all saw that the U of M, Dearborn's, iLabs, eCities Research recognized the City of Saginaw for developing a positive entrepreneurial climate. There were only 4 communities in the state that received that award: Saginaw, Dexter, Sturgis, and Tecumseh were all recognized. I get a lot of requests from universities in Michigan especially, and from other places, for information about the city. So this isn't an award that we were seeking. It just happened to be that they requested information from, I think, about 185 cities in the state of Michigan. So I asked Saginaw Future to submit this as it was related to development, and that's how Saginaw was selected. So I really wanted to thank people in the city who've worked on development with me. And we no longer really have a development department, but Yolanda Jones has really stepped up to work on a lot of those programs and issues, as well as John Stemple, and then over at Saginaw Future, Tom Miller and Cassie Miller both work on city projects pretty extensively. And Cassie's newer there, and she really works a lot with the city, and especially the DDA, and she's the one that did complete the survey for us. So congratulations to that group, and I know Yolanda and Darren from Inspections and Cassie all went down, as well as Lori Brown went down to Dearborn to receive that award for the city. And also wanted to draw your attention to a video that we have on our YouTube channel that is about Arson Watch. It's a really well put together update with some history that Matt Shutnick put together with our city manager's office intern Dan Wunderlich. So if you get a chance to check that out, I'd recommend it. It's about a 3-minute video, so they did a really good job on that. Also, the next Police Chief Citywide meeting is November 30th, and it's hosted by the Cathedral District Neighborhood Association. It's 5:30 on the 30th at the Greenhouse Center for Hope, which is on 723 Emerson Street. I'd also thank Holidays in the Heart of the City coordinators, Positive Results Downtown. They always do a great job with the parade and the event in the evening. And also thank the city staff in facilities and public services and the water plant for the work that they do to decorate the water plant, as well as City Hall and other places throughout the city. And I would mention we put a lot into our street lighting LED campaign and the bond issue that we had there, but Staff in the city has also converted a lot of those Christmas lights to LED lights, and I know that we have one review of the energy usage, and it looks like that for one area has gone down by about 85%. So that I think is a great job by the staff, and I know they've been working on that. The water plant and Phil's staff did that study down at Morley Plaza. So it's pretty significant because we do get a lot of questions about how much all of that costs. So I wanted to point that out. With that, I'll ask Mr. Brown, who is the Executive Director of Region VII Area Agency on Aging, to give us an update. He's prepared a brief PowerPoint that Ms. Davis sent to you all, and I believe that Councilwoman Bench is on the committee.
Thank you. Good evening. Mayor, thank you for allowing me to be on the agenda. Thank you to this honorable body. Being a former council person and elected official, I can appreciate the service that you do for your citizens, even though sometimes that goes unnoticed. I like to kind of lead with this when I'm coming in front of bodies, and I would like you to remember this as you go through your duties. If those who care don't serve, those who don't care will serve. Please remember that. It's always served me well. I'd like to thank the city manager for allowing me to be here, and I'd also like to thank Vicki for her coordination with my staff. Without the hard work of employees, we'd be nowhere. And that leads us into what is an area agency on aging? Well, first off, I'd like to say we call ourselves AAAs, and we like to say we're the AAA that doesn't charge you for our services. The other one charges deeply, we seem to see these days. So with that, my region is 10 counties. One of the counties I serve is Saginaw. One of my governing partners is also the city of Saginaw. A lot of people ask me, why an area agency on aging, and what's the difference between a commission on aging? Well, we're authorized under the Older Americans Act federally and the Older Michiganians Act here locally. There's over 600 area agencies on aging through the country, and there are 16 in the state of Michigan. There are rules, one of them being the population in regards to how many older adults a planning service area needs to have to exist as an area agency on aging. It's right around 80,000 at this point with the census and everything. Hence, your 10 counties had the wisdom and your city to get together to form an area agency decades ago to serve yourselves and to also capture that money for older Americans. It was a wise decision. It's still a wise decision. And because the choice is, if you're not monitored, and the money is not managed by a local nonprofit and or some kind of municipality, and as I said, you need 80,000 older adults that's over 60. You have that with the 10 counties. That's a great partnership. We're only allowed 5% admin, so 95% of the dollars goes directly to you and your programs. We think that's an awesome number. We do that job well with that money. We take it very to heart, and we even try to be more efficient than the 5%. Because every dollar we save, we don't advertise. People ask, well, why don't you advertise that you're an area agency on aging and what you do? So most of us try to get out in the community and talk at meetings like this, because every dollar I spend on a marketing campaign is, less services to our seniors and older Americans. It would be a missed meal. Many of the programs we do are nutritional programs, transportation, evidence-based, so we help people keep from falling in their homes. We help people live in their homes. We provide services in their homes so they're not institutionalized. Our phrase is bring them home. And not bring them home alive, but bring them home to live and have a good quality of life living with their loved ones. and in the community that they choose. And that's an important fact for our clients. We do that extremely well, and in a little bit I will discuss that. One of my other charges as the executive director is from time to time to give a fiduciary report to my governing body. Well, I have a board of governors or directors, but each of them are appointed by a legislative branch of government, you being one of them. So I also take it strongly from my previous position in coming here to give that same report to the legislative branches that appoint my board members. So here I am tonight, one, to give you the fiduciary report, why an area agency on aging, why you should invest with us, and also to advocate and to let the public know we do exist. Please call us, we will try and help. Right now we're doing Medicare and Medicaid assistance program. It's called MAP, but basically we count people on during the open enrollment, which closes December 8th, by the way. So if you totally understand Medicare and Medicaid, don't call us. But if you have a question, call us, because we love answering those questions. And we have about 30 well-trained volunteers that volunteer their times, and they come from all walks of life, accountants to housekeepers to retirees. We love them all, and they love our clients, and they love helping. If you ever want to tour our facility, I'm sure we could get you in on one of the counseling sessions so you could see it. You're more than welcome to come set up a meeting and come visit us. The other thing is we try to coordinate services over the whole planning service area. We never witnessed transportation for dialysis stopping at a county line and transferring in a client because of rules. And we're trying to work to tear down those boundaries, not only on a local level, but on a state level. And where we can to assist, also help with those services. Our first job, though, is to contract them out. One of our largest programs is Meals on Wheels. Do we actually do the meals? Do we actually develop the program? No. We're working with your local agencies and help subsidizing those meals so everybody can get a meal, at least one meal a day. And more importantly, be visited by a volunteer and or some person that's delivering the meal to make sure they're safe at home. Again, our efficiency. We're very efficient. Secondly, we run one of the largest Medicaid My Choice waiver programs. That's where we actually deliver services in homes to older and disabled Americans in your communities to keep them out of those nursing homes. It's an awesome program. If you want to learn more, again, just come visit us, see our care managers. We call them support coordinators. And remember, we're always working with the client and what the client needs. We treat them like the human beings that they deserve to be treated like. They have choices, and we give them those choices. A little bit into what I'm going to lead in, and then I'm going to close in the spirit of a efficient and fast meeting. Saginaw County, and sorry, we don't break up our finances down to the city level, but since I got there, I asked, and due to one of my board members happening to be from the city of Saginaw, we will try next year to break it out. But we have to do that by zip codes, and our systems are not set up for it right now. But we'll slowly get there so we can actually give you a report by the city. But we wanted to let you know that the county of Saginaw pays $12,000 some in dues. That was in fiscal 2016, last time we had data that we could deliver to you. And during that fiscal year, we delivered over $7 million worth of services to your citizens and the county citizens. We do know that we did serve, out of the 7,000 some residents of Saginaw County, we did serve 1,700 of yours, though. So to the fiduciary report, inside the little blue book that the clerk and Vicki helped me pass out prior to the meeting, I think you'll find a table that you're very accustomed to looking at, and that's the numbers. So I would just point out, again, the county, 7,000, the city of Saginaw, 1,700. You probably can do an interpolation of how much of that $7 million came to this city. I would tell you it probably would be a little more than a direct ratio, because some of our complex cases come out of the city of Saginaw. So there's a very deep need here. And I'm happy to serve it. I've been serving for nonprofits for the last 13 years. I came out of the private sector, and my background is in logistics. So my purpose isn't to deliver the program. Mine is in charge of making sure the resources and the monies are there to deliver those resources. And by the way, I'd like to say that if you know about the Michigan Healthy Endowment Fund, we were just informed, and they gave us $5 million to do an innovative grant in care transitions, and that's to keep our clients out of the hospitals. So that's my announcement, Mayor, and I thank you for your time.
Members, any questions for Mr. Brown? Councilman Michael Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for giving that report. I understand that the new government may affect the Commission on Aging, senior community service programs, nursing programs, things of that nature. I heard there's going to be trillions of dollars of cuts. Have you forecast how that's going to hurt the Commission on Aging in our area?
We constantly do planning. Right now, we're working on a what is it called? Carry-in resolution, or carry by the federal government. I forget exactly what they call it. But they're funding at last year's level. We've been given our statement of grant for this year. I don't have a crystal ball past this year.
To fiscal year 19.
We are actually going to be receiving increases overall. We just grew the waiver program. We changed that trend starting in January because we got more efficient, more dollars to your clients, but also we found additional funding. We took on additional slots. The team did a lot more work to make this happen. And the other part of this is the state has decided to, they call it the no-wait state, but for the first time in the last 2 years since I've been in the industry, they've actually increased our dollars on the state to overcome the shortages created by the feds. Well, yeah, it's a great question, but it's really complex at this moment, as we can see. If you listen to public radio, you know.
And $1.2 million out of other block grants to serve popular programs like the Meal on Wheels, program that you have yourself.
The block grant has it, but also Meals on Wheels has a core funding mechanism. I believe the Untitled program is called 3C, and that has been in most of the budgets that I've been watching stabled, or maybe even going to be allowed for an increase after the announcement that we didn't need that program, and there was an announcement, and public opinion changed pretty quickly. I have to tell you that Meals on Wheels is evidence-based. It's one of the most studied programs in the country by more institutions than I could ever remember or even repeat. So it's a fight every day for the advocacy for our seniors and disabled members.
Thank you.
Brenda Moore.
I'd like to thank you, Mr. Brown. I wish you were here 2 months ago, because we right at the crunch deadline for the Medicaid, and there are a lot of citizens who are asking. And so this is real good. This is good.
We do our best to do warm transitions to make sure they get to the right agency.
See them extending this out like they do the healthcare plan? Do you see them extending this date out past the 8th? or is the 8th the total? That's it.
It's an open enrollment period every year for about 6 weeks. And the end date has been firmly established as December 8th. Not to be confused with the healthcare program that rolled out. I just want to make sure because those dates are very close. We're Medicare open enrollment.
But I thank you so much.
Medicaid is time you qualify. That's a qualifying event. And there's a lot of things that, criteria for qualifying for Medicaid.
So is that, where's your center in Saginaw? Do they have to go to Bay City?
Our center is in Bay City. All they have to do is call us. We do outreach, we do advocacy, and we do a road show.
We have a cou-
spent money on my staff really good at travel. But to fund another building or another office, that would just hurt people. So. And the feds don't go timely on we're supposed to be Class C, which is, a decent office building.
Mr. Brown, could you just give us, not an exact number if it's not on top of your head, just a rough idea? Your total funding here supports how many full-time employees and how many volunteers?
Approximately 75 employees at any given time. 80% of them are actually nurses and social workers delivering direct services, so they're not admin. Again, our admin is statutorily 5%. So we, very few people in fiscal or that. We're running Older Americans Act programs and the My Choice Waiver Medicaid program in home services. So we're limited by that. We also have the 10 counties and all those clients. Volunteers in MAP, we have 30. Unlike most AAAs that regionalize and are very involved in the Meals on Wheels, we work with 7 different organizations who bid on the meal contract. But each one of those have, hundreds of volunteers. You have your own local council on aging. They have them serving those meals that we help support with dollars. Side.
Any other council members? Being none? Mr. Brown, thank you very much for your presentation.
Very
Thank
much
you.
for having me.
And that concludes the management update.
Mayor, we are now at the consent agenda.
And the agenda's been available at City Hall and on the city's website and on SGTV channel 191. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items, leaving room for exceptions. Have been moved and supported. Are there any exceptions? Council members, are there any exceptions? Being none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
We are now at reports from boards, commissions, and committees, and appointment of board and commission members.
Is there any council members that have a verbal report from their particular board or commission they sit on? Councilwoman Brenda Moore?
I want to request that we get the 911 board in here. We're doing some things with 911.
Update.
So we can just get an update, if that's possible. Thank you.
Can we, in the future, after the first of the year, maybe, get 911 in? Good. I'd like to announce to council members, next Tuesday is the next Saginaw County Land Bank meeting. It's at 7:30 in the morning. Next Tuesday, the 28th, 7:30 in the morning, out to Horizons Conference Center. That's the next Land Bank. With that, Madam Clerk?
Next, we have consideration and passing of ordinances. We have one this evening. It's to amend Chapter 152 of Title 15 Land Usage by amending Section 152.51 titled Naming or Renaming Streets, Parks, Buildings, and Other Property.
Need a motion to adopt. It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Being none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Your next order of business is motions and miscellaneous business.
And is there anything to come before the council members? Councilman John Milne.
Just wanted to mention to the manager, there was a communication addressed to all of us and the manager from Todd Wyman about the Hill House. And I would just be interested to know at a later time if we were able to provide any of the assistance he's asking for in his communication. Some of it looked to me like it was beyond our scope of operations, but if you could get back to us with some type of communication on what we may or may not either be able to do or wish to do to assist his renovation. That's all. Councilman Vandermark?
I'm sorry. Greater Williams Temple Church of God in Christ is giving away dinners tomorrow, Thanksgiving dinners. So I meant to do that during my 5 minutes. And the address is 608 East Remington. All are welcome to have a meal from 11 to 3. They said use the side door at the church, so they wanted me to announce that, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Cabal.
I would like to mention to the Boy Scouts that I know of two presidents that was Boy Scouts too. I think it was John Kennedy and Michigan's own Gerald Ford. And I'd like to let you guys know that normally Boy Scouts normally become some of the most outstanding citizens in the United States. So we appreciate you guys for being in the troop, and we look forward to what you're going to give to our country that you serve. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Actually, I want to follow up. In addition, I want to mention some of the scouts. I think your troop has been to a place called Camp Kiwanis. I hope you found it enjoyable. It's a great camp. So it's here local. It's a good facility for the scouts. So, great. Are you going to be doing a winter camp out there this year? Yeah, some of these scouts are out there in the middle of winter sometimes doing their the polar bear, what's it called, polar bear what? Anyway, I'm glad you're here, guys. Thank you. And again, if you have questions afterwards, please approach us. We'll be happy to try and answer them. Is there something else?
Okay, go ahead.
We have, Chief Van Loo, just in time. I want to mention your free carbon, your free carbon monoxide alarm program. These are available for City of Saginaw residents. You just have to call the fire department, and these are alarms that are available through the FEMA Fire Prevention and Safety Grant, and firefighters are available and will install these in your home by appointment at your convenience. So if you're interested, call the fire department. The number is 989-759-1393. Low-income households, homes with children, and homes with elderly persons are encouraged specifically to participate, but anyone is eligible. So if you need a carbon monoxide alarm, please contact the fire department. Carbon monoxide is a very dangerous poison. I'm sure Chief Lou would be happy to answer any questions you might have about it. But if you have any kind of open combustion equipment in your home, it's potentially susceptible to carbon monoxide exposure. So, and they have to be mounted differently than fire smoke alarms. So that's one of the reasons it is important to ask the fire department for installation help. So check with Chief Lou or any other fire department official, and I'm sure they'll be happy to help. Chief, how many are available? That's a lot. So please call if you have an interest in the carbon monoxide alarm. Thanks.
a lot of potential Eagle Scouts out there. One of the most enjoying privileges I get is to present proclamations to Eagle Scouts. Last year being probably the highest highlight is issuing a proclamation to my grandson who became an Eagle Scout. So look forward to you advancing. Work hard on those badges, and look forward to meeting you again when you receive your Eagle Scout. And in addition to that, when you get of age, there will be many seats up here available for you. If you would stick around and run for city council, we certainly would love that. So I see a lot of potential leadership setting out there, and we look forward to that. So, council members, I need a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Being none,